Hey, Seminole State family. Welcome to Research Rally Live. We are faculty librarians at Seminole State College of Florida. I'm Nicole.
Jason!
Us.
And we want to spend the next about 30, maybe a few more minutes talking about the researching the future of your career assignment in our Seminole State College of Florida IDS, or first year experience class, something a little bit different than usual. But before we get to that, we do want to find out what's going on at SSC, but more specifically, how to find out about all the awesome things that are going on at SSC in a fun way. And for that, we're bringing in Andrea, as we have usually joining us. Hi, Andrea.
Hi.
Hello.
Enjoying the background music in my backstage area here.
It's that bossa nova chill.
It's fantastic. But I just wanted to pop on today because, of course, we have lots going on and we're kind of ending our summer semester, and there are still a few events if you're looking for things to put in for your transcript for the IDS class. You know, we've got Nightbrary, Lunchbrary, we've got an escape room over at Oviedo, some therapy dogs coming in next week, and all of that can be found on Raider Connect, but it can also be found on your phone. And I know you can't see that really well, but right here on your phone. I know all of you have social media, and we are on social media as well. We are Nerdbird SSC, and that's the library and the Academic Success Centers page. But even more so, if you want to find out about Seminole State as a student, as a holistic approach here, you can go on to @Seminole State, and that is the college's main page. There's great stories about students just like you, what's going on, as well as alumni. You can even check in on the president, what Dr. Lorenz is up to. She also has a page at Seminole State Prez. So pop around on Instagram and just search for Seminole State, and you'll find the Seminole State main page, our page, and there's a bunch of pages for clubs and organizations, student life, SGA, all of that. So lots of information out on social media, and I hope that you'll join us and follow us and like us and do all the things.
Yeah.
I added you on MySpace, Andrea, so let me know.
Fantastic.
You're in my top 8, my top friends there. Anybody.
Like Tom, the
and then me. So you're right. So I only need 7 more friends. I have Tom as my. Hold on. Who's? Wait, what was his picture? How was he turning? He was turning his head. Anyway, Google MySpace, all the youngins.
Yeah.
No idea what you're talking about.
His picture, the way his picture wasn't on a straight. Remember, he was like turned. Yeah. It was.
I have no idea.
He was at the front of the class and he was staring at you and giving you weird.
All right. Well. Nerdbird SSC, hope to see you on there soon.
Hope to SSC you on there soon.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go. See you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Stop. All right, so thanks for joining us today. Yes, we're doing something a little bit different for our Seminole State currently enrolled students that are in the FYE class. So we're talking about this assignment. There's 2 assignments in Module 8 of the FYE First Year Experience IDS 1107 course. So if you're watching, and as you are doing, as Jason has asked for you to shout out your professor, if you have specific questions about the Citation Discussion Post or the Researching the Future of Your Career assignment, please chat them. Don't be shy. If you have a specific question that's not addressed in what we're talking about today, let us know. Right?
Yeah, so basically what you're doing is we're in Module 9. Is that right, Ross? Module 9?
Oh,
I think that's where we are now.
Due this weekend, due the 28th, and you are working on researching your career pathway. You have a good 5 to 20 years into the future in the magic crystal ball, and you are looking for your career pathway or your career field. If you're undecided and you don't have a major yet, get with your grading professor and figure out what it is that you're researching, or maybe something that you're thinking of going into. But think of your keywords. I taught a class earlier today, an IDS class, and it was the same kind of deal of what are your keywords. So a good example, Ross, that came up was sports management. Awesome. Great career field, a lot of stuff happening in the world of sport and or management. And when you combine the two, what exactly does that mean? Here's another one, Ross. FBI. Okay, what How do you... Here's another one. Hospitality management. Awesome. What? So you start very wide, and then you really want to start zooming in. And so maybe that's what we can kind of work on today with some. I gave some examples, but yeah, it was an obstetrician, a dermatologist. These are great. Where are you looking? What does that mean? Is it dermatology? For an example, dermatology careers in 10 years, maybe that's a Google search. And then you're going to want to evaluate that information using the SIFT method, and all of the steps for the SIFT and all the great videos and instructional material is in your Canvas shell, in addition to the librarian's contact information. So you can get a hold of us. But I thought some of those were pretty neat because you got to do a little bit of digging, and that's where we are. You should have your shovel ready, right? You should be digging now. You should be doing the research, right, Ross?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like the FBI one kind of struck me because, yeah, you might want to work for the FBI, but what's the career there? Like, are you an FBI data analyst? Are you an FBI investigator? Those all have different, career subsets. I'm sure of it. I don't know much about them, but
right.
Yeah, like you want to decide like what are we targeting in our searches, because that's the first step of the SIFT method. Really is. Kind of have to have a game plan before you can really start finding anything, right? You have to know what you're looking for, or at least you want to know what it looks like.
Yeah, and on that note, what it looks like, Ross, another example, the way it also can get a little confusing here is when you actually put in, for your keywords, the name of your major. So what I mean, for example, is when you put in criminal justice, okay, we have degrees in criminal justice, but so what do you want to do? You want to criminal justice? what exactly, right? Is it do you want to be a police officer? Do you want to be a detective? Do you want to be a forensic, right? But none of us can criminal justice, but that's the career pathway. So again, this has a little nuanced. You got to come up with some good keywords, and then we're going to try, maybe we could do some sample searches back in the chat. My YouTube viewer, awesome name, but we don't know what your real name is. So please put your real name in first and last, and the name of your IDS professor. And again, we're working on your information literacy module assignment. We're going to go step by step through it, and it's due this Sunday night for many of the classes, the 28th of July.
Yeah.
Back to you, Nicole. 12 viewers.
So do we want to start by kind of going over SIFT? Because I know in my classes that I've been asked to present in and join, I've been definitely focusing on SIFT and like hinging everything from there. So shout out to where my SIFTy's at. Okay, Caleb, one of the students in my class. Are you here? I don't see you in there, but I was in the class the other day and he's like, SIFTy's like a play on Swifties for Taylor Swift. Okay, we might know this. Okay, so I thought that was cool. Because we want everyone at Seminole State, everyone in our Seminole State family to be SIFTys. So, S. What does the S stand for? Does anyone ask it in the chat, Jason. I bet students that might have looked.
Sure. So you're going to be doing the SIFT, and this is basically going to be the steps when you're evaluating and getting there, Ross. You're pretty good at this. So where are we starting?
So we kind of already started where we were talking about this, where Jason presented the idea that we might have to dig a little bit deeper. But that's really what the stop step in the SIFT method is all about, is taking a breath and kind of deciding, what is it that I'm actually looking for? Like, how is this going to answer my question that I have? What type of information? Your professor might say you have to use scholarly articles. So then you kind of know, okay, everything I'm going to be looking for is going to be a scholarly article, right? And I always look at it like kind of setting up your game plan, right? You have to know what you're looking for, how you're going to go about it. You kind of have to say like, well, if I'm going to search it in Google, how am I going to express this idea that I have in my head? And what information is going to really satisfy me?
Yeah, and on the S, on the stop, Ross and I always have conversations here in the office. We always try to use real life scenarios, right? IRL scenarios. So stop, a good example too, is like, hey, Ross, by the way, you're now invited to a wedding. And you're not only invited to the wedding, now you're in the wedding party. So immediately you have to stop and go, okay, I'm in the party. Am I getting a tux? So I have to wear a tux. What are the colors? How much is it? Where do I get a tux? Do I buy one? Do I own one? When's the wedding, by the way? Am I going to work on that day? Do I have to take time off? Where is it? Oh, it's in Zimbabwe? Okay, thanks for inviting me. Now, so anyway, this list goes on and on. You have the information needs, and they go on and on. So when you're doing the SIF, don't just think of it for your college research assignments. Think of it for real life too. Great.
Right.
Now you're buying a house. What? Okay, you're gonna have to stop and go. Well, what do I do? Where am I getting the quality, credible, reliable information from about this information need?
Yeah, and you might even do that automatically. I mean, a lot of times when I do a Google search, it's because I have this question in my head that I didn't even really think about. I'm just doing it. But like this step is really all about taking that breath and stopping and thinking about it for a second.
Yeah.
What am I gonna need going forward?
Yeah, and usually the stop happens, and you guys tell me in the chat, give me a Y or an N. When you put in something in Google, do you always pick the very first thing that pops up? Put a Y or an N? Or do you stop? And then the second letter, SI, do you investigate? Do you look at that first source and go, oh, no, wait a minute, this was from the 1971, and it's written by Joe who lives in his mom's basement who's on a blog. Is this the right source that I really need? So that's the investigate, right? You stop first. Same thing, real life scenario, knock on the door, 2 o'clock in the morning. Do you just open the door and say, hey, stranger, come on in, I got Netflix and some popcorn? Or no, do you stop and then do you investigate and say, who is it? Who's at the door?
Right.
And then you got to figure things out, right? This is the same thing. Before you cross the street, what were you told to do? You look both ways, right? So you're evaluating.
Hopefully.
You stop.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, hey, I hope.
We don't need anybody out here pancaked in the street. Now,
I
investigate. When you do the investigate step of looking at your source that you've stopped and thought, okay, I know I can't just assume this is the perfect thing and it ends here, or this fits my need. I have to stop and start investigating. You're looking at who is saying the information, who are they affiliated with, an organization. You're looking at what is the date of the information that you're looking at, and is that good for your information need? And guess what? These are the elements of a citation. And so while you're investigating your sources, oh, I like it, author and date. Yes, thank you. While you're investigating your sources, you're collecting information for the citation. And the investigation, you're looking at for credibility of the source for your information need. And if you look in the module, mine is on module 8. If you look at the module on information literacy, you will see that citation, evaluation, and credibility are like I think some of the big 3 buzzwords that really come up in that module, and they're connected. So you're kind of doing it all at the same time.
And think about this. Let me get to you real. Let's do some real talk. So you're in college, you're taking a college class. The assignment is, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? What career pathway do you want to go into? You mean to tell me that you're going to do your research assignment and find bad information that's going to point you in a direction that's going to not lead you to the career field you want to be in? Wouldn't you really, really try to go, wait a minute, is this the right source? Is this the most credible information to help you on your career pathway? You've already paid for the course. You're already putting that on your permanent transcript, on your record. So again, why would you put in bad information? It's the same thing. You're hungry. You know something's in the back of the fridge. You know it's been there for a little bit, and it used to look good, and now it's all green and moldy and dripping with something.
Really
yeah, are you eating that?
Really
No, but you still have a need. So then you evaluate. You go, this is no good, and then you move on to the next one. So we have the S, the I, the F. What does the F mean? And that is going to be what, Ross?
I saw Matthew hit on it already, and Logan too. Yeah, it's all about finding better coverage. Now, you may not need to do this. I mean, if you hit on a source, you evaluate it, you go through the whole thing, and you say, yeah, this meets my needs, great. Your job's probably done. But the way I always look at this find step is you want to be willing to go beyond that source, right? Like, you don't want to just commit to the first thing you click on. It may be good, but you want to be open-minded to going, this isn't going to meet my needs exactly. I need something better. Maybe you need more depth. Maybe you need something more recent. Just be open-minded to possibilities here.
Yep. And think about, too, in real life, when you're going on that trip, remember that we're going to Zimbabwe. We're going somewhere around the world. We're going to do an airline flight or something. Don't you scour the internet to try to find the best deals on flights? And then don't you find a price and you're like, wow, this price is awesome. It's amazing. Oh, wait, there's no bag included? Oh, wait. Okay, so now I have to find better coverage. Again, this applies to real life, friends. This is not just college assignments. This is always going to be the same thing. We're hungry. Again, we're hungry. We're going to go to the restaurant. We found the restaurant. We go into the restaurant. The grill is on fire. There's roaches everywhere. There's not even a roof.
Whoa.
There's craziness here. So then we'd go, I'm not eating here, but I'm still hungry. I still have this information need. So you go back and you start over again. Where are you locating this information? And then you evaluate it, and then you use it effectively. So we have the S, the I, the F, and then what's the T? What do we do with the T?
I just popped that in the comments. I feel like this is like the hardest one, and I feel like this is the step people don't want to do, and I'm putting myself in that group because it's like going that extra mile. However, on the internet, there's links. Ooh, thank you, Emily. There's links that make it easier to trace the claims, yes, but I think the step is worth it because, again, when Jason's bringing up these things, like what he was just talking about, are you willing to settle? Like, do you think that's going to help you the most in any information-seeking situation in your life? No, it's probably not. It's not. You can always. And
Ross, a good example, Ross, is like I come in and I go, oh, hey, Ross, did you hear that punk band that you and I both know about? Did you hear that they're coming to town? And you're like, well, where'd you hear that from? What website said that? I'd like to see it too. Where's the poster? Oh, whoops. Oh, me. Oh, I heard it on the radio. Okay, which station? Maybe they'll say it again. We're always doing this. Hey, Nicole, did you hear so-and-so celebrity gossip? A couple broke up. Where'd you hear that from, Jason? We're always trying to trace the claim back to somewhere. So again, I'm trying to come in here with Johnny Reality Spot here. It's not just in your college assignments, but we do information literacy all the time in real life.
Yeah. And Logan, you hit it right on target there. It's all about the context of the information. I look at it like, I pick on CNN a lot because their site's pretty easy to navigate and everything. So it's really easy to find examples. But think of like a CNN article where they're saying, well, in this one study, they found this, and here's what this means. Which is great if you're just looking for, a journalistic take on something here. But if I want to see the real evidence, I can go to their source, find the original study, and now I have the context that it was presented in by the researchers. I'm not listening to somebody else's synthesis of that information. See what I mean there? Like,
absolutely.
We can make our own decisions based on the original content.
If you're anybody in journalism out there, usually the rule of thumb for television news or newspapers, if you all remember what newspapers used to be and look like, you always want to have two sources. So if you have one source that says, hey, here's the scoop, you always kind of want to be like, oh, wait a minute, I need to corroborate this somehow. So you usually need to have two sources. That's the way I look at the trace your claims. Mm-hmm. Is it true? Is this real? And then I'd look at the website. Is it a .com, which is commercial and usually is money? Is it a .edu, which is an education, which is what we're in? Is it a .gov, a .gov, which is neither Republican nor Democrat, but it's a federal agency of the United States, and it usually has the American flag on the page? Look at nasa.gov or the hurricanes, the NOAA.gov. Or is it a .org? Is it like cancer.org, American Cancer Society, where they're a 501c3 non-for-profit and they're asking for money for donations to help try to solve whatever social justice issue they're working with? So that's how I would try to evaluate all that information as well. But I would do the same thing in real life. I'm not going to Publix and meeting somebody who's making me a pub sub, and 2 seconds later I go, hey, come on over and meet my family at my house. Here's my address. Like, no. No, I'm not doing that. So again, we're trying to evaluate all this stuff all the time. It's a pretty logical step when you think about it, but now we need to do it in the college assignment. And just remember, your class, you're paying for it. It's your final grade and it's going on your transcript. I imagine many of you plan on transferring to a 4-year university. Why would you put bad? Why would you drink motor oil? I'm thirsty. Oh, but it's wet and it's liquid. No, that's not going to be good for you. So why would you put that into your body? You know not to touch fire. You know not to do that. So why would you do it with bad information? But now on that note, friends, how is it bad information? How do we know credible versus reliable? I keep saying bad information as if it's antifreeze or something bad that I'm going to eat. But what's bad information, guys? What does that mean? In the chat too, let us know. What's an unreliable source? Do you know somebody, again, in your real life who you would never ever tell a secret to? Do you know somebody who's just gonna be like, oh, I gotta tell somebody. I'm not telling Nicole because just kidding, Nicole.
Yeah. If we pinky promise, I will not tell anybody.
Oh, you have to pinky promise though. That's a setup. That's a setup. Yeah.
Speaking on integrity, if somebody tells me, hey, I want to tell you something, like, will you promise not to tell anyone else? If you tell me, like, yes, You know why? Because I am ascribed to integrity. This is what citations and credible sources and sifting is actually all about, is integrity, because you're looking to confirm the integrity of the source of information for whatever your need is. And then by providing a citation, you are able to, that gives you integrity as saying, okay, I'm putting this information forward and here's where I got it from. And I feel good about this source. I've sifted it, whatever. It's all about those layers of showing and proving integrity, ultimately. You know?
Right, and trust involved too. I mean, usually when you're a little itty bitty baby, a little baby peanut, you're being taught by your parents, your aunties, your uncles, everybody, your grandparents, and then that's the authority, right? You listen to what they say. Don't do this, don't do that. But then as you get a little bit older and you start becoming a young adult and you start being in the world and understand, oh, well, wait a minute, Mom and Dad. Wait a minute, Auntie and Uncle. It's holiday time. I might disagree with what you're saying. So again, you're learning new information. You're storing that. We're getting a lot of things in the chat. I forgot that I asked you what is bad information because I started seeing Quora and Wikipedia. And yes, I would not do anything with Quora ever. I would not do anything with that. Wikipedia, by the way, is different than WikiHow. We've gone over that a couple times in different classes too. Unreliable sources. Yeah,
Logan
biased against the topic.
And then Haley mentioned usually do not cite or provide credible sources within. That goes back to like trace your claims, right? Like we should be able to trace the claims. So yes, nail on the head. Very good.
Remember, you want to look for an author and you want to look for a date. A date should be obvious. However, the author might change. It might not be Joe Smith. It might not be Sally Jones. It might be, the corporate author. It might be the, give me a corporate author example. The
NASA. Like if NASA, publishes it, they're not going to say Ross wrote it. They're going to say NASA published this, right?
And again, the date might actually not be the date published, but it might be the date last updated. Mm-hmm. You might have somebody's picture in a bio. A lot of times, like the Wall Street Journal is a really famous example. They usually have a kind of a black and white picture. If somebody's name is there and there's an email address that you can click on and continue the conversation with them, this is gold. This is gold as far as evaluation because it's opening the door as opposed to imagine a cutoff person. And let me ask you this. Give me the answer. You go to a web page, it's a .com. You have no date, no author, just text. Who wrote that information? Who wrote it? I'm asking you guys too. Is it whatever.com? Is it the name of the company? How do you even know where they got it from?
Right.
So again, I'm just going to take this. The assignment's due at 11:59 p.m. It's 11:52. I've been texting it on Instagram with all my friends, and now I got to do this. I put it into Google. I got the first thing I see. I don't know about that. I don't know. That's not a good investment. That's like eating that weird green thing in the back of the fridge that's been there for 20 years. I probably wouldn't do that either. Right? Right. All right. Jason, you're in your head. No, you're live on television. Okay. All right. Here we are.
Just a
so
note,
here's the assignment.
if you haven't already looked ahead, and maybe depending on your class, it might have been moved around a little bit. So it might not be technically module 8, but researching the future of your career, they're not asking you to go deep into the library databases. You are on the web. It's a Google search or another engine on the web. So just a reminder, you don't have to, anyway, like everything we're saying applies, but we have to be a little bit more careful of picking credible information on the web. So definitely use your sifting, which we've illustrated that we do know. And part of this assignment is define what sift means to you. So a little head start. Can somebody tell me what sift means to you? Yeah. I mean, that's like almost like emotional, like, I bet there's going to be some heartwarming answers here in this course.
Yeah. And maybe put some in the chat, Nicole. That's a good idea. Think about that. Give us your answer in the chat. And then,
what does sift mean to you?
As also in the chat, you could answer either or. What does sift mean to you? Or give us a really, really, quote, famous person that you inherently trust. So like, for example, like Bill Nye, the science guy.
Do you trust, like believe everything they say?
What does trust mean to you, Nicole? I don't know. We're all students in this class. We're all going to have different answers. But don't we just inherently trust some? When you go and you hurt your elbow and you get a boo-boo, where do you go? Do you go to the dentist? Do you go to the pub sub? Where do you go? You go to the doctor, right? And then is that doctor, what do they have on the wall? Don't they have all their degrees? Aren't they wearing a lab coat? Does anybody ever ask the name of the pilot flying the plane? We inherently trust them, don't we? I never, it blows my mind on how many times we trust other people and we don't know anything about them. Yet in the college course, we have to kind of flip that a little bit. We really need to know who wrote this. What are their credentials? What does SIFT mean to you is what we're asking you. But there are a lot of, like Albert Einstein, if I said, if I said, Nicole, XYZ, and you say, oh yeah, Jason, who said that? And I said, Albert Einstein! Wouldn't you be like, okay, all right, backing off a little bit if old Albie said that? But that's the way I think we are in society. I think we just pick something and like, oh, that's the person who said it. I like them, or they're good looking and they're on television, so I got to believe what they're saying. What are their credentials? Have they written anything else? Are they in Google Scholar? Where do they go to school? What are we even doing here?
I'm glad we mentioned. Okay, we started to get some answers because I was like, everybody's stumped. I'm glad we got them starting to think about what does SIFT mean to them, because that is part of the researching the future of your career assignment. So Peyton, a method to find credible sources. Christopher, a good method for researching topics. Yes, so start thinking about these things. And if you haven't been thinking much about citations, which again is a part of SIFT, because when you investigate your sources and look at who, what, when, and where wrote it, that's elements of a citation. And you have a discussion post also due on July 28th. Again, check your own specific course to ensure that your professor has not, adjusted some of the due dates or times. They do have the ability to do that. So double check on that. But due on presumably July 28th, you have to write like 150 words chatting about citations and then respond to a classmate about citations. So if you haven't started thinking about citations, start now, because that's a lot of writing about citations. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like us librarians, like we can talk about that all day.
Right.
But if you're new to it, okay.
But again, don't let the citations, don't let the actual, mapping it out and filling in the information, don't let that, bug you or haunt you. It'd be the same thing if it was like, oh, mom and dad, oh, where were you, Jason? Oh, I was over at Ross's house. Why don't you ask Ross or ask his parents? Again, then it puts all the trust over on them. We want to make sure that we're getting somebody who's a trustworthy, reliable source to reinforce the facts that we're presenting in our argument. That's the best way to put it.
I like this comment that Logan put, that SIFT means to research a source deeply to isolate what is useful within the source. And I think that's a really good point, because there might be one piece of information you can use in a source, and just because the rest of it isn't useful to you, don't throw it out. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? Like the bathwater's dirty, you throw it out. If you have the baby in it, don't throw out the baby too. Anyone know that saying? It's from a long time ago. So I like that, because I think we, more so than ever, we really look at different types of sources and how they may be useful for our specific information need. It's no longer, as it was about 20 years ago, really, focusing only on peer-reviewed, scholarly, doctorate-produced work. I mean, I can use a blog post actually, and here's an argument here. Let's on this note, let's point this out. If I find 10 blog posts that say back a conspiracy theory that I can prove otherwise, like birds aren't real, and I find 10 different blogs or websites or Reddit posts that say, oh yeah, I totally think birds aren't real, they're actually drones that are controlled by the government, that tells me some information. It doesn't prove that birds aren't real, because I can probably find other sources of information that prove that birds are real. They are a real thing. But those 10 conspiracy blog posts tell me that this is an idea that has propagated, and I can look at the reasons that people say that they think birds aren't real, and that tells me something about a certain viewpoint or way of thinking. I'm not saying that they're valuable to prove that birds aren't real. I'm saying they're telling me information. I think that's a key point, because we are inundated with so many sources of information, and that's why we have more than ever need to use really good information literacy and sifting skills.
So Birds are real. So the SSC
Birds are
bird,
real.
the nerd bird.
I'm gonna say birds are real.
Okay.
Yes. Probably the radio
yeah.
is real, and the cat downstairs
Logan,
is real.
to go back to that on
Okay.
deeply isolate what is useful, and Nicole had said cite a little bit. I agree. Don't pick an article or a source and cite the entire thing, because why? Where's your paper? Where's your outlook? Where's your point of view? I usually just maybe pick one out of a whole thing. That's, I mean, again, going back to the research days, it wasn't like every single sentence was according to Ross, according to Nicole. It's like, well, where's Jason? And the professors will see that. And keep in mind, too, what Nicole was saying about the birds and the conspiracy. How did you know it was a conspiracy theory in the first place? Also, if you're taking a speech class and you have to do an argumentative or an argumentative essay, usually you have to go to the other side of the fence just a little bit just to show what the other side is, and then you come back. So recycling is good. As an example, recycling is good. It saves the planet. We can all do better. On the flip side, it's probably going to cost the taxpayers a little bit more to order all those different color plastic bins and this and that. However, we have to. It's going to improve the world. You see what I did? So you just go back a little bit, and that's maybe where I would go, well, some people think birds are drones and drones are birds, and some of them look like birds and drones. However, they are not. They are birds. They have heartbeats and eyes.
I'm in the birds are real camp. And by the way, if
that's a good camp to be in, Nicole.
Yeah.
Wait, you take the baby? Wait, what do you do with the bathwater? I'm so confused.
No, because that actually started as a troll. Like, it was fake. But then people they started to really believe it was real. Again, I'm purporting some information here that birds are real. I stand firmly by it. I can't cite sources right now, but if you wanted me to prove it, I think I could find some sources. I think I could go outside and chase after one of these cranes and it's like.
What do you mean a crane? Do you mean a crane bird or a crane, the actual crane? Because that sounds like a drone and a crane, and that's not real. Anyway, let's get to the BLS.gov. Write that down, take a picture, put it in your memory banks for this assignment, friends. 6 letters, BLS.gov. We're going over time just a little bit because I want to share that site with you. That'll be very good. And you're also looking for the that is the Outlook Occupational Handbook. That is the on the BLS.gov, which has no sound effect. This is going to help you. I like how you put that up, Nicole. You put up the It's funny because it's just in the URL. Whatever you want to put in for your career pathway or whatever, it's going to have on the top. That's going to help you.
Google.
Yeah, do it.
We got ONET. And that's ONET is part
ONET's
of
good too.
Is a .gov or it's a .org. I think it's like the Bureau of Labor Statistics, or maybe I have that flipped, but it's a good source.
Yeah, the BLS, that's the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's a .gov. That's a good one to look at. And any of the other ones, you just got to check. Is it a .com? If it's a .com, and many of you said on the top, if you grab the first one, I don't know about that. It depends on where you are in the world, and those search results are askew, and they're not. I would critically evaluate every single thing as if I'm eating it or drinking it or bringing it into my house. That's the same way I look at this college research assignments. And by the way, in the chat there, put a Y or an N. How many of you first-year experienced students plan on transferring to a 4-year university? Maybe taking advantage of our direct connect to UCF. Let us know in there, because guess what? More research! And in fact, you're taking other courses right now too. Aren't you taking an English or a speech or a history or humanities? Guess what you're doing in there? It starts with a re and ends with a search. So it never goes away. Christopher, yes, another class. Yes, Matthew, transferring. Gabby, yes, transferring. Research. Awesome. Where are you going to go to school? Aren't you going to do some research? Or aren't you going to look at how many courses there are going to be? Aren't you going to look at where you're going to live on the campus? You're going to live off campus? You're always doing research. It never stops. We talk like this all the time.
Sometimes.
Why? Sometimes.
So nobody really, I did ask if anybody had specific questions about the assignment.
Yeah. Does anybody
nobody really popped anything in.
Oh.
But I will say that if coming up, and this goes for any time, not just for this assignment, Ross and Jason and I are librarians here at Seminole State College of Florida. So our job is to help you. We can't help you unless you come and let us know what you need help with. And I'm saying that because first of all, there's no stupid questions. Also, it's not cheating. Some students think I'm trying to do it all on my own. We had a professor today, Ross, that was chatting with us at the front desk saying, that a student said, well, I wanted to try to do it on my own. And that's a very valiant attitude and effort. But like, you do have a host of resources here at Seminole State to help you, including librarians. Yeah. And so
how did you learn how to walk? You just started walking? How'd you learn how to ride a bicycle? Nobody held the bicycle for you? What about shooting your first basket? What are you talking about? You need help. We're helping you along the way. Sorry, Nicole.
Yeah. Oh, no worries. And we and other librarians are actually reachable 24/7, 24 hours a day on our chat service, which is also on our library homepage. I know a lot of times students just want to search, like do a Google search. So Seminole State Library, you'll find our chat on there. So if you have a question anytime, you can contact us on there, especially for this assignment. But going forward, just know that we are here to help you.
Yeah, we'll be here through your whole journey. Yeah. Absolutely. So let us know. We'll put the link in the chat here for the first year experience credit. All you have to do is copy that URL, put it in there once. You'll get a little banner at the bottom of your Raider Connect that says your attendance has been recorded. And last call for Nicole's question. Yes, it does count. It counts, Michael. It does count. Yes, for sure. Just asking if this counts for FYE credit. Does anyone have any questions about this assignment? It should be pretty easy. We just did it for you. You just have to the beauty of this broadcast, it'll be on YouTube. You could watch it again in case you missed anything or you're looking at your IG or whatever you were doing. But research your career. Think about your keywords. You're going to go through the evaluation process. Which website did you land on? Why did you choose this? How did you evaluate it? Go by the S, the I, the F, and the T, and really give your professor a pretty good synopsis. And then look at the answers. What does the money look like? Right? I've had all of these assignments. I've had veterinarian, obstetrician, and then I got into computer science or whatever. That was $145K median pay. I was like, okay, let's all go into computer sciences. This sounds pretty awesome. So no questions. So we'll work with you, Michael.
2 total.
Yeah, okay. 2 total, Michael. Yep, 2 total. You guys can ask us these questions offline or here in the chat, however we can help. 2 total. It's in the syllabus. Everyone should be checking the syllabus for each one of your courses from now until the end of time.
Yep. And we're here every Wednesday at 3 doing research during the semesters. So if you want to get to know more what we do or see more of the research process, we pick different topics too. Like today was a little bit different because we're talking about the assignment in this class. But like one of the last ones we researched are semaglutides dangerous or something. I mean, we just talk about all types of stuff. One time we did a tabloid edition, and update Benefit 2.0 is over.
It's over. I do not see any rings on that finger.
Well, that was up in the air, but no social media posts on the day of the anniversary. I'm sorry. That's all you need to know. No. Oh, wait. Does this count?
You guys have really good granular questions. You have to attend 2 events in this class. If you've already attended one, this is another one. And 1 and 1 is 2. All right. Peyton, we got you.
That's the library tonight.
Yes. Peyton, we got you. Emily got you. Gabriella got you. Christopher got you. Logan got you. Matthew, Scotty, Gage, Isaac, we got you. If I did not call your name and you are on this broadcast with us, you have not clicked on the attendance link. Michael, got you. Thank you. Did I say Christopher right? Did I say you? Yes, I did. If I called your name, you're good to go. You can peace out. Thank you. Thank you for watching. If you have any thoughts, concerns, questions, or compliments, please put them in the chat now, especially the compliments. Back to you, Nicole.
Yeah. So we'll see you next time, and we'll see you around. What? What are you laughing at?
Nothing. I was sneezing.
Oh, that's good.
No, I was laughing.
I'm so going to steal that. I'm going to disguise sneezes as laughs.
I was kind of laughing.
Thanks for that. Okay. Bye. We'll see you soon at the library.
Hey! Outro video!